Good afternoon. My name's Peter Lennon and I'm from Consultus Marketing. And today I'd like to talk to you about one of my favourite subjects, actually, which is around marketing planning and sort of marketing intelligence and using research and analysis tools to track your performance. In this section, we're going to focus on digital marketing and we're going to look at the different types of packages that you can have for the Google Suite and other packages that you can subscribe to when looking to measure the performance of your digital marketing. So, firstly, you have Google Analytics, which has just changed over to GA4. It used to be GA, but from the 1st of July, it's now GA4. And Google actually now is much more about event-based tracking. So it will track clicks on an AI contact form. It will track scrolls down on a page. So it will track down to has the user scrolled 25%, 50, 75%, or 100% down a page. It will also track visitors to your website, users. So the difference between a user is a user may have more than one website session. So they may hit your website on more than one occasion. So it will count as two sessions if they hit the website twice, but it will be one user. So sessions will always be greater than users. So you can track traffic on a daily basis, on a weekly, monthly, or whatever time period you want in Google Analytics. You can track the behavior. So, what did they do when they landed on your website? How many pages did they visit? So, that's called page depth. What was the length of time that they're on your website for? So, measuring what a good or a not so good average session duration is really important, and that will tell you a lot about how engaging your website is. But it's also really important to understand that obviously if somebody's on your website for a long time, that may not necessarily be a good thing because your website may be hard to navigate. So it's understanding what would be a good amount of time that somebody would be on your website for. So generally, we say about 3 to 5 minutes. Over 3 minutes is what I'm used to working with. So you can look at many different things, the geography, the city that the person's from, and all of this. It's really important to say. But when somebody lands on your website, you need to have a cookies policy that's clearly explained to anybody that's landed on your website. And you need that because of GDPR and the regulations around that. So we can provide advice on that to support, but it's really important that you disclose what cookies are being used, why they're being used, and if there's any retargeting websites that you're working with, then they need to be defined as well. So that needs to be in your cookies policy on your website. So if you look at Google Search Console, this is another package that is offered by Google, and that will look at keywords, their rank, and it will measure the growth in website clicks through different keywords that you have. So if you are selling mountain bikes, it may be mountain bikes in Canterbury, or it may be cross trail mountain bikes is another keyword. You will have pages that are optimized for these different keywords, and you'll have many different keywords that Google will find your website for. And Google Search Console enables you to have an overview of what those keywords are and how you're performing. So that's really important. And it's really important to develop a keyword strategy for your website and for your paid Google marketing campaigns, if you use them, to make sure that you optimize your website for the keywords that you wish people to find you for. So the process to do that in terms of website performance is called SEO, search engine optimization. And that is all about having a clear keyword strategy and measuring the performance of the clicks and also the conversions by those different keywords types across your website, but also for specific pages as well. So that's a little bit about Google Search Console. The other thing is you can see how many overall impressions your website gained for the different keywords, and where your keywords on your website appeared in Google search ranking. So you can track any of these measures on a year-over-year basis, a month-over-month basis, as you see fit. It's a really good tool. The next tool is Google Keyword Planner, and that is part of the Google AdWords, Google Ads app that you can sign up for. There's also an online version of it as well. So you've got an app for all of the Google programs, but also you can go and access that through desktop. So the Keyword Planner enables you to forecast the search volume in the UK or any other market for your keywords. So if you're after a Rode microphone, through Keyword Planner, you'd be able to say there's 9,000 searches for that search term in the UK on a monthly basis. But also, it will show you a list of associated keywords that you can use to develop additional content. So you may wish to do some certain blogs to try and gain search ranking in Google and attract traffic to your website. So that's if you're selling microphones, that would be a strategy to look at for microphones, for instance. It also indicate the cost of Rode microphone. So how much, if you paid for that word to be clicked on, how much would that cost? Would it be £2, £5, or £10? That's just an example. So it will give you the exact click cost for somebody if they click on that word, if you are paying for Google to advertise for that search term. It will give you a forecasted traffic for any keyword or any associated keywords. And it will also indicate the growth in that keyword year over year, but for the last 3 months as well. So Google Keyword Planner is a very powerful tool in developing a keyword strategy and researching associated keywords, other keywords that you could use across your website or for blogs as well. You may also use that as motivation to develop different social media posts. So you may promote against certain keywords on Facebook or other social media platforms, or develop YouTube content. But it's important to say that YouTube in YouTube Studio also has a sort of a keyword section. You can access that through plugins called vidIQ or programs called Social Blade or TubeBuddy. We can provide advice in terms of how to use those add-ons, those plugins that actually can be plugged into your Google browser, and then you can use those to look at actually search volume through YouTube as well, because they're slightly different than Google's main search platform. The keyword volumes are different. So there's another tool that we use at Consultants Marketing called Clicker, and that's Clicker Competition Analytics. And that measures very similar things around keywords, amount of visiting traffic for keywords, and other things. And that will actually enable you to plug in a website. So that may be a competitor website, and look at how they're performing for certain key core words. Also for how long people are on their site and other website stats. It's quite insightful if you're comparing your business to competitors. So Google AdSense, AdWords, so it's also called AdSense as well. So there's many different sort of terms for Google Ads. And this is just another sort of word. So going into a little bit more detail on Google Ads, you can set up different campaigns, be it search campaigns or display campaigns, or even video search campaigns. And in there, you can develop certain keyword lists for certain campaigns. They may be geographically based, they may be product or category based, or they may be generic campaigns for your overall business, your brand, to support radio campaigns and so on. But what the platform will do in Google Ads is it will enable you to look at the amount of impressions, the clicks, how many phone calls your campaign has generated, the total cost if you've put budget behind different keywords or campaigns, the engagement rates. It will measure your conversion percentage, and the conversion percentage is the amount of clicks versus the amount of actions that you've defined that you want Google to measure. So it's completed lead forms and you had 100 clicks and 5 people clicked on a lead form, then that will be a conversion rate percentage of 5%. It can also include telephone calls as well. So again, if you had 100 clicks and 5 people clicked on a lead form and you had 5 phone calls, that means 10 people have taken action from your campaign, your keyword that's appeared and somebody's clicked on, and that would be a conversion rate of 10%. So you can measure the conversion rate in 2 different ways, either on a pure just lead form creation. So you receive lead forms from potential customers, or through the combination of telephone calls and lead forms. For e-commerce, another measure of conversion rate is the actual physical amount of purchases versus the total amount of visitors to your site. So that's just another metric that you can use if you're looking at e-commerce. There are other tools as well to look at sort of keywords and competitor websites. One of the best ones is called Ahrefs. So AH and then refs, all one word. And that will look at a series of competitor websites that are operating in a similar space to you. And it will look at the strength of their websites, the best performing keywords that they have, where they rank for their keywords, the content that your competitors have developed, and how that's performing. So this is a really good piece of software that we use and recommend to our clients. It starts from about £89 a month and it goes up to a premium version, which is almost £500 a month. But just to start out, you can use the free version, but it's quite limited. The package that we normally recommend is the basic package, which is just about £80 a month. So it's not too expensive to sign up for that and use it. Other tools in the market is SEO Rush. There's Yoast SEO, that's a plugin that can be applied to a WordPress website, and that does a similar thing. It helps you in the back end of your website develop the best page structure and the best tags that you can associate to your page to make sure that your website is as optimized as possible for your target keyword. And it's a really good tool. And the basic version is free, and then you can pay, I think it's about £20 a month. And we recommend, but that's a good tool to use if you're quite new to SEO and developing websites. So there's other tools out there which enable you to measure content and word count on your blogs. So ideally, when you're developing a blog, it should be about 350 words. That's what Google currently recommends as the optimum blog length. And through using a word counter tool, it will enable you to make sure that you are around that 350 word count. Something else that's really important, if you're capturing people's emails, there's a program called MailChimp. Now, really important to say, but when you're capturing people's data and emails, if you're going to capture people's emails and intend to use them in the future, in addition to the rules of GDPR to let them know that you're capturing and holding their data, it's really important to have a tick box for consent to future market. If you don't have that tick box ticked, you really cannot use people's email addresses to market them in the future. So it's really important when you're designing your site or any digital marketing campaign, be it if it's on another platform, that you gain a tick box for consent, and you've got that as an audit trail to say that that user has consented to be marketed to in the future. Other tools that are useful is a tool called Bitly, which is a link shortener. So if you've got a website and it's got quite a long URL, unique reference link, so that's the bit at the top of the website. So it's https dot backslash www, and then it will be like your product or your category or whatever that link is. You can shorten that to a very short link, and you can associate those links in the program called Bitly to certain campaigns and track specifically how many clicks you've had on those shortened links in that program. So it's quite handy to measure if you've got a certain blog post somewhere or a social media post or a very specific campaign that you want to measure, and that's being promoted on a certain channel. You can measure the exact amount of link clicks using that tool quite quickly and easily. So if you're not too technical, it's a very good way to actually measure the amount of link clicks using Bitly for a specific campaign. There's also Facebook Ad Manager, so it operates in quite a similar way to Google Analytics or Google AdWords, and that will measure the effectiveness of your campaigns in generating traffic, the engagement, and lead generation capture, and ultimately any conversions or event actions that a user has taken. Twitter has something similar called Twitter Analytics Suite. It does pretty much the same as Google and Facebook's platform, but just displays it in a different way. And finally, really importantly, if you're developing content and campaigns and you have more than one YouTube channel or Facebook or Twitter or many different pages or different locations, what you can actually do is develop that content once and use a program like Hootsuite to amplify that content across your many different social media platforms or different locations. So if you've got hotels, for instance, and you've got those in 10 different locations and each one has a page, but you also want that campaign to show on your master brand page, you can target certain hotels in your group. So maybe 5 of them are running the campaign. You can put that on your master brand. You could put it on Twitter and YouTube. Through using the Hootsuite tool, it actually allows you to set that campaign up once and amplify that content out across multiple social media platforms. So thank you very much for joining us today on this marketing planning and analysis session. If you want to contact us, we'd love to hear from you. And we wish you a very good afternoon. Thank you.